How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Friday, February 23rd, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing great. It's good to be here with you all. Moon's still in Leo, right before this full moon. So this moon's kind of been in its own little world, right? And I think this moon making this quincunx to Neptune today is like, hey, I got to come back into reality and realize what's really going on. Like, things are getting pretty serious, right? We just had this Mars-Venus conjunction. There's a lot of very deep connections that are being made right now, and a lot of, heavy energy coming in here, but in a spiritual way, and in an intuitive way, in a synchronistic way. There's a lot of messages coming through here on a spiritual level. The sensitivity we're starting to feel today is at an all-time high, right? Mercury's now in Pisces. Venus is ahead of Mars. So we've seen Mars kind of leading the way. We've seen this masculine energy just kind of charging and plowing through. Now Venus is taking the lead here. So the sensitivity is just really starting to feel a little overwhelming. And Pisces season can definitely be overwhelming when it comes to our sensitivities, our spiritual sensitivities, or, but we also, with this moon in conjunct Neptune, we don't want to mistake our sensitivities for some kind of scenario we're making up in our minds, like in our imagination. Like, this moon making this hard aspect to Neptune, it can get kind of, somewhat of a paranoid state it can bring on. And it's usually not true. So we got to remind ourselves when we get into these places of like, oh my God, what is this person doing? Like, where are they at? I haven't heard from them, in 4 hours, maybe they're doing this. Like, you're just coming up with scenarios in your mind that aren't even real and just letting them reel out. It's like this moon it wants to be present and in reality. It wants to, have a good time, and Neptune is like, hey, there's a lot going on in the subconscious. So if these thoughts do kind of come up today and these feelings do come up today, there is some validity in them, but to be able to step back from them and look at them in a practical, realistic way, I think is important, to not let them kind of unravel and let them take you out, so to say. This Mercury and Sun and Saturn are all in Pisces, and they're on their way to their conjunction here on the 28th. So it's the 23rd, and we have 5 more days till this conjunction, and we're having a lot of powerful conjunctions here over the past month. All the conjunctions with Pluto, now the Venus-Mars conjunction, and this Mercury-Sun-Saturn conjunction. There's a lot of new beginnings here. These are basically like new moons, so to say, right? So Venus is leading the way. The more feminine sensitivity is starting to come through that we haven't felt in a while. Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius 2 years ago, so this is ending a 2-year cycle. We're having this Chiron North Node conjunction. I didn't even throw that in there. There's a lot of different areas being highlighted in such a potent, in the most potent, focused, powerful way. In our relationship life, our physical life, the responsibilities in our life, the karmic situations that are playing out, connected to ourselves and our egos and where we're wounded, and all this Chiron North Node, it's all happening at once, and none of it's isolated. It's all a story together, and this is a new cycle. This is a new beginning, and then we're having this full moon tomorrow, which is that's over. This is the end. This is the last bit of information that we need to really jump into this new cycle here over this next day or two. going into the weekend. So we definitely don't want to get overwhelmed today with this moon making this in conjunction to Neptune. Things are so sensitive, and as much fun and just, external as this moon in Leo wants to be, it's kind of hard right now. Aquarius, Venus, and Mars, it's not the most external energy either. It's more heady, it's more intellectual, it's more scientific, right? It's more detached, it's more removed. So this moon in Leo it's really trying to find its place, and our values and who we are physically and the power that we have within us is transforming so radically. But now we're being reminded that it's like, hey, we have to soften up a little bit. Mars has been leading the way since last year, and it's been very intense. It's been very masculine here. So, and I remember doing a horoscope when, Mars kind of led the way. When Mars kind of led the way last year, saying, okay, like we've been in such a feminine time that, we're ready for Mars to kind of lead the way. Now it's like we kind of do need a little bit more sensitivity here, a little bit more flow. Like we've been in control for so long. We've been driving the ships for so long. And now what this is saying here with Mercury and Pisces, the Sun, Saturn, Venus now leading the way, even this moon making this hard aspect to Neptune, I think all that to me says it's like we have to let the divine, let spirit, let source drive the ship here and just trust and really pay attention to the signs, the synchronicities. This is all what Pisces to me is about. It's just going down the rabbit hole and experiencing the beauty of what life is really made of here on this physical world, from a spiritual plane, from a spiritual place, from the divine place. And what that really is that it's all happening, whether we're asleep, whether we're awake, it's all happening. So to be able to witness that and allow it to happen with us and for us and not to us or because of us is the place that we want to be at this moment, because that's going to alleviate the kind of anxiety that this moon in conjunct Neptune can bring on, or the paranoia, or we don't want to fall into the overindulgence of alcohol or drugs. It's Saturn is teaching us a lot of lessons right now, and it's starting to come through in our minds. And it's not the most clear image, it's not the most clear picture with Mercury and Pisces, but we can feel it, we can intuit it. And the message lies within the connections of spirit. Like that's the channels that are open now. Like our spiritual channels are more open than we've seen in a long time. We've been in such a heady space with all this Aquarius energy. We're starting to transcend beyond that, right? Like we've been transversing the unknown. Now our souls are kind of ready to leave our bodies and rest until we get to Aries season. So we want to allow that to happen, and remind ourselves that we're not in control. We can't control everything. We don't have all the answers yet, but we have all the answers we need at this moment. So this is a beautiful energy coming in here, as long as you're willing to let that kind of more feminine aspect kind of run the ship, and let go a little bit and not get too caught up in how things were. This could be hard for some people to adapt to this energy coming in here, especially on a more masculine side of things. And we haven't seen this in a while. We've been fucking plowing through this reality head first for a minute now. So, because you got to remember, coming into this year, we went all planets direct. Coming in last year, in 2023, we came in with Mars retrograde, which is just awful, where the masculine energy is just bleep, right? And then Mars started gearing up, picking up speed, and then Venus went retrograde. So Mars has been kicking ass, with its own will. Mars is our will. It's our power. So now it's like we're ready to receive. There's a lot more to be received at this moment. And so we want to allow that to happen with just letting go in a much more sensitive way. Ooh. Got the 4 of Cups. So this is an interesting. This is pretty Neptune, pretty Pisces kind of card to me, and I feel like as well with this Chiron North Node, it's like we're starting to work things out. We're ready to move forward, but we're not seeing what's really being shown to us, And with Mercury and Pisces, we might not see it all, but the fact is if we feel like we don't have enough, or we don't have what we need, or there's some paranoia, coming through, because I don't have this, I'm not going to make this on time. Like, it's all going to show up. Everything that we need at this moment is always going to show up. And it always does when you trust the divine and you are on your path and you're trusting the divine, right? Like, you're always going to be provided what you need at that moment. Doesn't mean you have everything and more. It means you have exactly what you need at that moment, And you don't just want to keep your head down and not look at all the wonderful, amazing things that are coming through here at this moment. Even if you feel like you're missing out on something, you're not missing anything. Like, it was exactly what it was supposed to be, right? And so today's definitely a day where it could feel a little melancholy with this moon making this in conjunction to Neptune. But I feel like that's only in our subconscious, and that's not necessarily how things really are in the external world. So, and that's hard in Pisces season, especially with Mercury in Pisces. It's hard to kind of bridge the gap of our subconscious and our place within and the voice within us, and questioning is like, is this real? Am I really feeling it? Like, is this feeling truly real, or am what I'm being spoken to about real or true? Like, it's hard to tell at this moment. And, that's okay. So we want to be able to let go and trust the divine and know that if we feel like we don't have what we need at this moment, it will always show up at the moment that we need it, at the right time. This is like Saturn right now, with the sun getting closer to Saturn, is reminding us that, time isn't, this kind of blocks and increments of control. Time is not linear, right? Time is a cycle. Time is a spiral. And I think if you look at the astrological cycles, it's like a spiral, right? We always come back to where we were, but in a more evolved, expanded way. A spiral starts out very small, and it grows infinitely. So this is very much teaching us and reminding us about divine timing and divine purpose, and also getting some rest. I think too, like, things can get a little heavy with Saturn right now. So rest as much as you can, and take time for yourself and be in that receiving state so we can alleviate the burden and pressure of control. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday, and I will see you all for the full moon. Peace out.